On today's show, I'm bringing back a returning guest, and it's been a little while. Last time he was on the show was back in April of 2019. We're talking about no other than Auryn Resources, Inc. They trade on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol AUG. And if you're up there in Toronto, they trade on the TSX under the ticker symbol AUG. And with us today is going to bring us up to speed is the executive chairman of the company, Mr. Auryn Bebek. Auryn, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
You have been busy, obviously too busy to come on my show, but I won't hold that against you.
I appreciate that, and that's great testament. Look, we had a lot of great interviews with you in the past as we were chasing some of these world-class discoveries, and we ended up with a lot more than we bargained for, which is always awesome for shareholders. And we've been waiting for a sense of clear direction, and that's partly the reason why we haven't been on your show for some time. We wanted to see direction in either a discovery and or in a business plan. And what we've just announced recently is that we are splitting Auryn into 3 companies, and we're taking over a company by the name of Eastmain. So it's a very transformational event, purely led as a shareholders in mind to, achieve 3 shares for 1 share. And, I think the big ingredient there is assets. And then the big question mark of, can you pull this off? It's resolved with people, which we've been very fortunate with as well.
Now, are you going to rename it, or what's going on? How did the shareholders come in and vote on that?
Yeah, so great question. Auryn is going to change its name to Fury Gold Mines. This is going to be a Canadian-focused building of a gold mining company in Canada, specific to Canada because you'll get the biggest premium, we feel, on the gold that we have in this company as well as how the shares perform. It's going to be led by a CEO by the name of Mike Timmins. And if you remember back when you used to interview me about Caden, Agnico Eagle bought Caden Resources in 2014. We met Michael Timmins at the time. He was in corp dev for Agnico Eagle. Mining background, he was there for the growth of Agnico to what it is today, which is over $100 per share Canadian, and an incredibly well-performing company. And so what we're setting out to do with Fury Gold Mines, which will start trading actually next week as Fury, is to go and build another Agnico Eagle or something of that caliber. And so that's plans are well thought out. The other 2 entities will be Sombrero Resources and Tier 1 Metals. Sombrero Resources, I'll be the CEO of, and I'll be the chair of Tier 1 Metals. Sombrero's focused on the big copper gold district we have in southern Peru. This is something we have talked about on your show in the past. It's a chance, kind of a once-in-a-lifetime chance we're describing to go find, one of the world's largest copper discoveries in southern Peru. It has a lot of analogous features to a mine called Las Bambas that sold for $8 billion in 2014, and that's just 10% of the property that has that kind of potential, right? So, to your point, wow, it is truly something that we've waited impatiently for a long time to get drill permits on, but we should have them in Q1, and Sombrero will be trading sometime in Q1, probably towards March. And then Tier 1 Metals, something you and I have never spoken about. We got onto this silver project last year down by the coast. It's on the trend of some of the biggest mines in Peru, Quellaveco, Cerro Verde, Tocopala. So it's in the right address for those huge kind of discoveries that you dream about. But it's come out with multi-kilo silver everywhere. And we're in the process of figuring out what that means. In the spirit of, wanting more for shareholders, we have identified a couple other assets that are silver and gold acquisitions that we want to go and pursue before Tier 1 Metals resumes trading expected in February of 2021. So pretty awesome transformation event. Shareholders will get 0.7 Fury Gold shares. They will get 1 full share for Sombrero, 1 full share for Tier 1 Metals. Each of these companies are going to be run by the same culture that has created a lot of value and the same financing capability and marketing capability that Auryn has, but they'll be a lot more asset specific going forward.
Well, let me ask you this. When can the investors get into this deal? When's the last day they can get into this spin out?
Great question. And, on that basis, our personal advice to ourselves and our friends and family is to buy shares prior to the spin out, so you get all 3. The last day that we are aware of to do that is on the end of business this Thursday, October 8th. There will be an exchange bulletin that will go out probably tomorrow, the next day, that will give absolute final days of when you can get it. But I would encourage people, if they want to get all 3 shares for the price of 1, to get them between now and October 8th to realize the split and receive those SpinCo shares.
What do you think this is going to create from this deal for the shareholders?
I think, I'd argue, a great question, the entire value of Auryn can be justified by just the Canadian assets. And we're adding in Eastmain, which is a tremendous asset as well. So I think it'll be undervalued with that coming out the gate. They have a deposit called Eau Claire. That deposit has been seriously misunderstood by the market and by the way it's been explored previously. And we plan to start a 50,000 meter drill program a few weeks after the close of this deal, which is November 1st, to go out and start showing that value amongst the other projects there. So I would argue that Canada itself, Fury Gold Mines, should trade at Auryn's current market valuation independent of the Peruvian entities. If you look back about 6 months or even last year when we did our last interview, the story was really the revealing of Sombrero. And if we really are finding another Las Bambas, I go and make the same argument because I think our share price at currently where it is, which is about $2 US, has represented all that value in just Sombrero, and Sombrero was the main show for a while and we weren't doing much in Canada. So there's your second, valuation miss, and I think so 2 for 1 right there. And then the third, Tier 1 metals, which I'll be honest, nobody knows much about, including ourselves. We just know the start of it is really exciting. And what's going to happen in the next few months, everyone's going to see, that there's a lot of meat on the bone. There's a lot behind the story of that excitement of what could be there. But we're also adding a couple things. And I'm going to be a little bit forward-looking ambitions here and say that we're going to add another gold asset and likely another big silver asset of consequence in Peru. So I would make the case to you in the current commodity environment that Tier 1 metals could trade around the same price as both Fury Gold Mines as well as Sombrero, which is around $2 per share prior to drilling and making the discoveries or adding a lot of ounces. That's our proposition. So ultimately, yes, I'm saying that I think that all 3 companies should add up to 3 times Auryn's value by the time they get trading. And, to kind of protect that from a strategy point of view, Fury starts trading now. It has a huge drill program. And then in February, Tier 1 metals will start trading with at least 1 drill permit, maybe more, on assets that it has in the silver environment. And then in March, we will finally get to the Sombrero drill program, which will have permits, should be in hand by that time. So all 3 will come out with drill permits in hand, ready to create that value. And I think that's where we'll be able to speculate and get this kind of valuation. And that's the whole purpose of unlocking the value.
I want to change gears here just for a second. Ivan, as Fury Gold Mines takes over the Auryn trading symbol, I believe this coming Friday, October the 9th, and should everything go accordingly, what is the first major catalyst for that company?
I'd have to go with drilling first. The 50,000 meter drill program that we're starting on November 1st, it's going to be substantial, and we're looking at about a 1.1 million ounce deposit as is of about 8 grams per ton. And, I think with this program, our goal is going to see if we can at the very least double it, which would be tremendous value to shareholders. But that's a huge program, and 50,000 meters of drilling will be very catalytic for the share price. This will be followed by another 40,000 meters between Homestake Ridge and Committee Bay next summer. So Fury is going to become a drilling company essentially. And as you are aware, drill results are the best way to create a performing share price for investors. So very exciting times immediately after the acquisition is complete.
Before I let you go, what is it that you want my listeners and your stockholders to take away from today's interview?
What I want you to take away is something that we'll get to do once in a career. Spend $100 million putting together some of the world's best opportunities in the resource exploration side of the business, and then to monetize that at the start of a bull market by dividing the company into 3 and representing 3 opportunities that have equal potential to the upside. So I think that your investors should take away the chance of a lifetime for us to kind of create substantial shares or shareholder value for shareholders going forward.
My guest today has been Ivan Bebek. He is the chairman of Auryn Resources, Inc. You can find them on the New York Stock Exchange. Look them up. Their ticker symbol is AUG. Also, if you're up there in Toronto, you can find them on the TSX under the ticker symbol AUG. Sir, I want to thank you for coming back on the show. I missed you. A long time ago, a couple of years, you said, Ev, we're on to something really big here. And just give us a couple of years and we're going to make this thing happen. And I think that you guys are. I think, you said you're on a journey of 1,000 miles and you guys are definitely traveling there.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's been a lot busier than advertised, but for amazing reason for shareholders. And I really thank you for acknowledging that and staying with us. And I look forward to more interviews by myself and the CEO of Fury going forward as we start to talk about these exciting events as they start to take place.
Thanks, Ivan. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Cheers.
This program is entirely sponsored and produced by La Jolla Media LLC, which is responsible for the content. The opinions and information provided on this program are for educational and research purposes. Stock Day encourages all listeners of this program to do their due diligence and research when determining investment strategies that will work for them, or to seek the assistance of an investment professional.